Let's get it on. What up, kids? Fresh back from hot Atlanta. The Laughing Skull. That's where I was. Boy, Atlanta has changed. Jesus. What happened is all the fruitcakes from the northeast have moved down there and made it a very fee-fee city. So different than I've been going down there since the mid-90s to play, but it's got that politically correct northeast retarded feel to it. I mean, it's still a great city though, but yeah, shows were good. It's a small club, good place to work out stuff, and it's the alternative room, which. Yeah, and I was working with a few young comics, and one of them was a young Muslim fella. These guys are very green, by the way, and he was pretty funny, Ismail. And some girl, feminist, who hates men, I was told, even before I... she didn't say a word to me the whole time, not once. Anyways, so I'm sure they loved my right-wing... free market, pro-capitalist attitude that I brought into the alternative scene. None of them said boo to me the whole week unless I talked to them. I don't know. But Saturday night second show, we have to talk about that. The fucking behavior was appalling. If you got to run a comedy club, you got to police the room. You got to do at least that much. I don't care how alternative it is or whatever. I mean, just drunken tables of drunk broads yelling shit out. And the fucking, it was just... I tell this girl to shut off her phone. This was Friday night. The first four shows were fine. But I told the girl on Friday night to shut off her cell phone. And this other broad goes, she can do anything she fucking wants. Can you... That was the fucking mindset. I go, really? She can do anything she fucking wants, huh? You know, I'm attracted to 18-year-old girls. And there's some guys out there who want to fuck kids. Does that apply to them or just to you drunken chicks? You can do anything you want. That even stunned me after all these years of dealing with these drunken idiot bimbos. Why they even come to a comedy club is beyond me. They don't even know what they're getting into. And it wasn't just all girls, but yes, the majority of people who are fucking up the show were drunken girls. They can't handle their liquor. They get big balls. There was one guy in the middle who, raised his hand, and I can't remember what he was yelling out, but, he was with his girl, and he shut up when I told him to. But just a fucking horror show. Saturday night second show. People with cell phones on. That's the other thing. If you're running a club, you got to make that announcement 3 times. And you got to do it with a little oomph. Don't go, and if you could please put your phones on vibrate as not to bother the people. No, shut off your fucking phones. They've been around long enough. Okay? You're going to fuck the show up. And you're going to fuck it up for other people. That's the language you should use in your little opening announcements. Okay? You got to stress that. Because there's a fucking whole generation who thinks that their fucking phone is just part of life wherever they are, whether it's behind a fucking wheel or in a comedy club, or a Broadway play. You got actors and actresses who've been in show business for 1,000 years, fucking being interrupted in the middle of a play and screaming at people. I mean... Fucking grow up, jerk-offs, with your fucking phones. Grow the fuck up. Jesus H. And again, texting was made for chicks, because the verbal diarrhea, they can't shut up when they're sitting next to each other. And so it's perfect. Now they can type in silence while you're trying to entertain them. And then get their fucking dirty bloomers in a bunch when you tell them to shut off their phone. Just fucking sickening, man. So, don't even bring them into the club, okay? And like I said, if you're running a club, make that fucking clear. And you know, after about the third time, somebody starts yelling shit out. They ruined the poor kid's act in front of the kid Ismail in front of me, who's pretty funny. They were yelling shit out during his jokes, and when I heard him going, "What the fuck's going on in here?" This is like a mellow kid who's only probably been doing it a few years, and I'm like, "Holy shit!" And the people were just. I could tell by their voices they were slurring as they were. I mean, it was just you can't fucking run it like that, guys. If you want it to last. So I just stood up there for an hour and said, "Shut your mouths, you drunken twats. Shut up." That's all it was. And people, you know what? People find that entertaining. Just, comedians obliterating drunken assholes. We can do that all day, folks. But that's not what we do. It's not why we write material. And you people listening to the show, you're fans of mine, so you probably already know better. But, that's not why we work on jokes and try to get them right and develop a whole act so we can go in and just tell, fucking rip drunken people to shreds in a verbal war, which people find entertaining. I mean, a couple people's tweeted, "It was so funny. You told people, you stood up there, for 45 minutes and just told people to shut the fuck up, and it was hilarious." But it's not hilarious. It sucks. It sucks. Just, and that's where you got to have a doorman. Go over and go, "Shut the fuck up or I'm throwing you out." I can't believe, stand-up's been around 1,000 years now. That just still has to be said. And it was just the second show Saturday night was a waste. But the first four were good, and I really liked the club. So, just telling you. She can do anything she wants. Well, I guess I can do anything I want. I'm going to put a fucking cigarette on your fucking tit, you drunken dope. Ugh. And it's just hilarious. And they keep coming back for more. And then, people putting their feet up on stage. It's just fucking, I don't know, wore me down. It took the fun out of a great week. But Atlanta, yeah, it's like San Francisco East now down there. I'm sitting on a bench like during the day, watching people walk by. And a lot of it'll be like two muscular guys in tank tops walking a poodle. I saw a lot of that shit. It's so different than the gun racks and all the other shit that I used to see. People chewing, tobacco when I used to go down. Yeah, good gig. Put me up at the W Hotel, which is fucking awesome, and within walking distance of the club. I come home drunk one night, and in the W Hotel, they put, you have a mini bar, but they put all the snacks and shit out on a shelf, not in the bar, right next to your TV on the shelf, and boy, they make the mini bar menu prices. Boy, they make those easy to find, huh? They had them taped behind an armoire under 3 inches of dust. So I come home drunk the first night, and I don't know, had 2 bags of goldfish, a bag of pretzels, a glass jar filled with mini Snickers bars. What else did I eat? I'm like, can't be that much. Drank 2 bottles of Smart Water. Get up the next morning, I find the fucking price menu. It was about $49 worth of, literally $11 worth of snack food for $49. And I was shitting Cheez-Its for the next 3 days. But, and I after the show, I have a couple drinks of Jack, because that's the only way to knock myself out anymore. That works pretty good, the booze. I'm going to try weed, too. Enough people convinced me that weed will be the way to go to knock yourself out. But anyways. But what the hell else? I've got to give you my dates, I guess, real quick, before we get down to business. September 17, 18. By the way, this is the last day of August. Do you believe it? How depressing is that? Christ. September 17, 18, and 19 in Boston. Laugh Boston. Good club. Done it before. Then the following weekend, the 25th and 26th of September, Governors, one of my favorite haunts of all time. Levittown, Long Island. Private gig in D.C. on October 3rd. You don't have to know about that. Gramercy Theater, October 17th. That should be great. And Magoobies, November 5, 6, and 7 in Timonium, Maryland. And then Comedy Club of Jacksonville, Florida, November 12, 13, and 14. That's a new one. I always like to go to new places. That's it. Oh, the Post is covered with... we have a big problem in New York City, I guess. Times Square, the idiot mayor... Bloomberg was all right, but one of his fuck-ups was to turn Times Square into a giant place where people could hang out and no longer allow cars, and just a pedestrian fucking shithole. Kind of the urban version of a state fair. And you've seen this on the national news. There's a bunch, they have characters dressed up like Superman, Batman, Goofy, whatever, and and they get in fights, and if people don't tip them, they get pissed. But now we have a new problem. We have, body painted girls. Girls completely nude. You paint their bodies, and it makes it look like they're actually wearing clothes, and that's a big controversy now. Whether women should be able to have their tits out. I guess there was a state law in New York passed in the 90s that said they could, or whatever the fuck, and it's unbelievable because, there's little kids in Times Square, and some parents get pissed. They don't want their 4-year-old kid seeing a naked woman, even if her tits are painted like the German flag, or whatever. So... Oh, this is the Tits song, by the way. Joe Walsh. And so women and feminists, obviously, are saying we should be able to hang out at tits just like men. Completely ignoring the cultural fucking differences and norms and go ahead, hang them out. See what happens. I guess their argument would be, well, here's my argument. Guys are raping you when you have your clothes on. They don't just want to, be bare-breasted like in Times Square to get a few tips and shit. They want to do this everywhere. They're like, if it was up to the feminists, they'd be able to go into a restaurant or anywhere. Bare-breasted. Well, then do it. What's stopping you? Apparently it's legal in this state. Quit your fucking yapping and do it. Let's see what the fallout is. Most of the... and again, I'll say this again. Most of the, feminists, the real fucking loons, you wouldn't want to fuck them or see their tits. They look like Donna Shalala, Janet Reno, or, Kirsten Killibrand, or whatever her fucking name is. I've never seen a real pretty ardent feminist, You don't see strippers complaining, huh? So they want to hang their tits out and blah, blah, blah. And really, so let me get this straight. Again, feminist messages, you don't want to be sexually objectified. You don't want guys staring at your ass and tits. You don't want to be objectified. But now you want to hang them out. So once again, it's the onus is on the guys to what? Change our DNA? Right? To not be attracted to your tits. And I'm saying, go ahead, do it. Let's see what happens. This is the only way to settle these matters, folks. Let's see how many women get groped. And these fucking feminists are such fucking hypocrites. They're fucking clueless. They argue so much that they argue into a circle where they defeat their own arguments. So when you're going out on a date, you put on, you put on pumps and show a lot of cleavage. And you do that when you go out with your girlfriends to attract guys. And then if the guys don't even look at you, you're offended. So you're all fucking confused. So to get rid of the confusion, just please start going around. And again, this doesn't apply to most women. Again, the feminist twats, a small group, just like, most Muslims are good, but 5 or 7%, according to Kurt Schilling. And we'll get to that in a minute. And so go ahead. And as far as painting your tits in Times Square, I don't know. Do you see what all this... It was better, again, in the fucking 80s when Times Square you could see tits, but it would be a prostitute. I'm trying to figure out the difference between a prostitute and a girl who paints herself. They do this for tips, by the way. So you take a picture with them and you get to, you're not supposed to touch them, but you rub up against their tits. At least that's what I'd do. But they're looking for a tip. So you're selling your body. I mean, why don't you go all the way? Just, below the tourist in front of his kids. What the fuck's the difference? You show me your tits. You know why? Because all women deep down inside, they really want to be strippers. They really want to be fucking strippers. They envy strippers. I believe that. They wish they had the balls to do that. Because they love their body, especially now. These chicks are in love with their own bodies. Fucking selfies, that's all they do. You go on Twitter and check the media out. All they do is take pictures of their own ass at the gym and shit. Oh, my God. They all want to be strippers deep down. Trust me. That goes for every chick. Even the fat, club-footed ones with the lazy eyes and ball patches. They'd like to get on there. So you're really selling your body, even if you're just painting, like I said, painting your tits so it looks like you have a tank top on, aren't you? I don't know. But go nuts. I don't know if each state is different, but go nuts. Get out there and hang out those tits and see how long it is before somebody, rapes you. I mean, guys, like I said, they'll follow you at noontime if you're in a tight skirt and low-cut blouse. Can't wait to see what they do when you walk into Starbucks with your fucking bags hanging out. It could get interesting, but do it, girls. Commit. So, yeah. I'm a big tit fan. Most fellas are. Most straight guys love tits. Really don't give a shit. So, but you can't ignore the culture we live in, This isn't fucking the dark jungles of Africa where, they're completely naked, and you have to be because it's 119 degrees, and you're chasing a fucking zebra through the woods. You don't want to be in a fucking pantsuit, shoes. But see, here we're different, kind of civilized, okay? And it's been deemed inappropriate. Sorry that's the culture we live in, but again, I'd like to see more tits. But the tits I want to see, like I said, aren't attached to the Rachel Maddows of the world. They're attached to the Pam Andersons of the world and the, Jennifer Aniston's and those types. Not Donna Shalala or any of the creeps at Obama. What is it about the lefty broads that, it's just frightening looking. Yeah. The hell else? Yeah, I think we're rotting from the inside out. This is a good one today. Did you read this? This guy, the top administrator for the Nassau County District Attorney's Office is a twisted fetishist who wore a chastity belt to work and diapers and a horsetail during sexual foreplay.
Hello, I'm Mr. Ed.
Jeffrey Stein. His estranged wife,
Of course. And no one...
Carol Mundy, suffers from post-traumatic stress disorder as a result of his sexual antics. She's divorcing him. He used to wear an ass plug with a horsetail. It was an anal plug with a horsetail attached to it. He pretended to be a horse by galloping around the marital residence. But how do you suffer post-traumatic stress disorder? Isn't it funny? We used to hear that. You used to think of people who fought in, Vietnam and Iraq and whatever, veterans of wars. Now, now it's broads whose husbands like to, wear anal plugs with a horsetail hanging out of it. And this guy was all fucked up. He liked to... Well, depends on your take, I guess. Again, I'm coming at it from a 53-year-old straight white fella's point of view. But he favored kinky role-playing that included him dressing like a sissy maid. What? What other kind is there? The fuck? Most maids are sissies. And calling himself Jessica while kneeling at Mundy's feet. There's a picture of him. Look at Jeffree Stein. Just a fuck. Are you going to tell me when you interview a guy like this, are you going to tell me you can't pick up certain clues? Really? He looks crazy as a shithouse rat. I know that would be prejudging and you get sued if you said, I think this guy's into shit. But I mean, the guy's in a job interview and he's got, he's got faces on both thumbs. And he's wearing a hat with a giant dick on it. You might want to fucking... Listen to this one. At other times, Jeffree Stein pretended to be a cat who used a litter box and cleaned himself, and he wanted his wife to walk him on a leash. This is the top administrator of the Nassau, that's Long Island, folks, County District Attorney's Office. And again, Miss Mundy, Carol Mundy, I mean... Really? At what point? I mean, you must have dated this guy, right? You didn't marry him a minute after you met him. So at what point? I mean, after he took a dump on your head or he hung you from a ceiling fan and gave you black coffee and prunes, at what point did you fucking go, this guy's a sick fuck? Now you get, Again, it's just more evidence we're Rome in the final days. That's all I'm saying. Rotten from the fucking inside out. God, I'd like to have... my wife wear a butt plug with a horsetail coming out of it while I rode her around the kitchen and smacked her on the ass with one of those whipping things. She probably got one. We have a horse, you know that. So what are they going to do with this guy? The DA's chief administrative officer and a prominent Long Island Democrat engaged in predatory and extreme depraved antisocial sexual conduct so egregious it shows a blatant disregard for the marital relationship that it shocks the conscience, the paper says. Fucking weirdo. How about that? Sorry for the strong language. I know. God, he's just creepy looking. So funny. But I guess you can't... we're not supposed to judge this type of behavior. Right? We're not supposed to judge anybody. He can do whatever he wants. Well, like 18-year-old girls in cheerleading outfits. Let me at him. It's the problem. Nobody judges anybody's behavior anymore. And this is where it's brought us to. What the fuck else since I talked to you kids last? More cop killing, huh? That's the other thing. Yeah, since I was gone, there were a couple more. I can't even keep up with them now. Last Friday night, remember we had the Deputy Darren Goforth. It's a Texas deputy, was filling his gas tank on a Friday night, and he was shot. He was a white cop. Black guy comes up, shoots him. That's not enough. Then stands over him and shoots him some more. And, they got him. Suspect identified as Shannon J. Miles. His criminal history includes convictions of resisting arrest, trespassing, disorderly conduct with a firearm, blah, 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 blah. What a cowardly piece of shit. But here's what kills me. I read these stories, and in every story, whether it's on TV or in the paper, the motive in the shooting is still unclear. Is it really? Well, you sure you sure came up with a motive when the white kid shot up 9 poor black people in a church in South Carolina. The motive was hate, racism. So what's the fucking big mystery here? He's a black racist. There's a term again you never hear outside of this show. He's a racist piece of shit. And what happens is guys like this that are on the edge and ignorant and probably has the IQ of a fucking avocado, they're still bright enough to watch the news and pick up on the zeitgeist in this country at this time of, cops are evil and shit because 3 cops a year 3 bad cops a year get busted for shooting unarmed black men, and somehow the media picks those stories and runs them on a loop, so you get the impression that that's going on everywhere, and then psychos like this fucking ingest that, and this is the end result. And it's just the times we're living in under a shithead in the White House. He's created this fucking climate. He's fomented it. And, he's a fucking radical. I don't hear him speaking out either after these cops are shot. He's too busy in Alaska this week. But, open season on cops. He's the 23rd or 24th cop killed this year. It's open season. This is like the fucking 60s. That's the climate. And it's such bullshit. Black Lives Matter. It's all fucking predicated on horse shit. On that killing in Ferguson, which was justified. And we already talked about it. But how even Eric Holder couldn't hide the truth, how the cop was justified in killing that thug. And that's Black Lives Matter came out, that whole protest group came out based on that big fucking lie. And they were out in Minneapolis shooting their fucking mouths off. And but they got this guy. And there was another one. There was another I was gone, I think, since the last time I talked to you. I don't even know what the race in this situation was. But some guy, I think it was Texas again. I don't know. He stabbed a couple people at home. Then he boarded himself in a gas station, and there was a shootout. And he killed a cop. And then 3 weeks ago, you had that cop down in Louisiana, saw a Jeep in a ditch, and went to investigate, and that was a white guy who looked like a psychopath, opened fire on him, killing him. It's unbelievable what the fuck's going on. And it's all because we're too conservative, right, kids? Yeah. That's what it is. I'll tell you the only guy that understands it. I'd vote for this guy for president tomorrow. He really should think about running for some office, but you know what I'm talking about. And I've played clips of him many times, but he's so right on the money with this shit. He's a African-American sheriff out of Milwaukee, Sheriff Clark, David Clark, I believe, and he was commenting on just what I was talking about. Let's listen to Sheriff Clark. He should run for something, seriously.
Judge, I am too pissed off tonight to be diplomatic about what's going on, and I'm not going to stick my head in the sand about it. I said last December that war had been declared on the American police officer led by some high-profile people, one of them coming out of the White House, one coming out of the United States Department of Justice. And it's open season right now. There's no...
He's talking about Holder when he was there, and Obama, I guess. He says coming out of the White House. So, I mean, who the hell else? But what the fuck's going on, really? Oy. So they got that scumbag, and yet the stupid Black Lives Matter are protesting. Fucking like an hour after that cop got shot at the gas station, they were, protesting somewhere else. Again, based on a lie, but that doesn't matter because it's their religion. What a fucking nightmare. Hang that fucking jerk off by his balls. I'm surprised most of these guys, you look at their arrest, their rap sheets, 2 miles long. We should start there, But disorderly conduct with a firearm, but he's out there. Imagine walking up and just shooting a... Fuck. And, yeah, so how many's that in the last couple weeks? What the fuck? There's nobody right-wing out there enough for me to take over the Oval Office. Fucking Pat Buchanan. Like I said, my ticket would be Giuliani and Pat Buchanan. Here's my dream ticket. Maybe Mussolini, but we can't get... He's gone. Can't keep up with the killings. What else? Here's another example of left-wing fascism. What the fuck's going on college campuses? It's unbelievable. Professors, plural, threaten bad grades for saying... 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 Professors Get this. Professors are threatening the students. They said they're going to give them bad grades for saying illegal alien and words like male, female. Multiple professors at Washington State University have explicitly told students their grades will suffer if they use terms such as illegal alien, male, and female, or if they fail to defer to non-white students. According to the syllabus for Selena Lester Breaks, Breiks, if you want to attack her online, feel free to do so. Go to her Twitter and fucking just go nuts. Go nuts. Shame her. She teaches women in pop culture and says students risk a failing grade if they use common descriptors that Breaks considers oppressive and hateful language. Let's listen to some of her lectures.
Ein Vorführen durch eigene Arbeit, durch eigenen Fleiß, eigenen Entschlossenheit.
Well said, you fucking cunt. The punishment for repeatedly using the banned words includes, but is not limited to, removal from the class. Do you fucking believe this? And where are you students? Why don't you confront her? And go ahead, I dare you to fucking throw me out. I'll sue your fucking leftist ass, you twat. It's not limited to removal from the class without attendance or participation points, failure of the assignment, in extreme cases, failure for the semester. She'll fail you for the semester if she doesn't like the language you're using. Are you fucking shitting me? And hey, Larry Wilmore, you dope. I did his stupid dopey show, and all his fucking fans attacked me on Twitter for weeks. This is what I was talking about, assholes. It comes from college campuses, which we all know are a bastion of conservatism, right? Fucking scumbags. She's not the only one implementing such policies at Washington State University. There's another one. Professor Rebecca Fowlers. She teaches Introduction to Comparative Ethnic Studies. Listen to the titles. Just dripping in liberal fucking horseshit. She's the one who says her students will see their grades suffer if they use the term illegal alien in their assigned writing. According to her syllabus, students will lose 1 point every time they use the words illegal alien or illegals rather than the preferred terms of undocumented migrants, immigrants / persons. Throughout the course, Fowler says students will come to recognize how white privilege functions in everyday social structures and institutions. Can you fucking imagine? She doesn't even see the irony that she's trying to shut people's speech down. It's full circle, especially on college campuses. You go, literally the purpose for a college is to share ideas and you know and argue points. It's unfucking believable. It's just, so how come nobody's suing these dumb bitches? I don't even know what their color are, by the way. These professors, you don't have to know. Well, with that mentality, it doesn't matter. Probably white. I'm laughing at those white kids out there too, protesting with Black Lives Matter. How funny is that? Fucking idiots they are. If all the shit went down tomorrow, their throats would be cut first because they're within geographical proximity of these idiots. Here's another professor at the same, again, Washington State University I'm talking about. White students and Professor John Streamer's Introduction to Multicultural Literature. Just listen to the titles of this fucking horseshit. Do you have to take these? I'm guessing they're mandatory. Listen to this. In his class, the students are expected to defer to non-white students, among other community guidelines, if they want to do well in the class. Really? Well, I kind of did that. I used to sit next to, like I said, Asian kids and try to cheat off them. So he'd probably, I'd get caught. I wish he was teaching my class back then. Oh, I'm deferring to him. I'm deferring to the Chinese kid next to me during my calculus test. He knows better. The Professor Streamus, who previously generated controversy by calling a student a white shitbag. This is a professor. He called a student a white shitbag. You guys didn't hear about that story, did you? The mainstream media didn't pick up on that one. You think if a white professor called a black kid a black shitbag, you think you might have heard it on CNN? Or fucking CNN. I hate them worse than MSNBC. I've said it before. You think you'd heard it on NBC Nightly News? Lester Holt would have opened with that fucking story. Streamus, he called the student a white shitbag and declared that WSU should stand for White Supremacist University. Who hired this fucking dickhead? Cheese dick, sucker of Satan's cock. Who fucking hired this fucking asshole? Huh? That's where we should start. Larry Wilmore, you going to cover some of these stories on your little show that'll be canceled soon because you're a fucking crushing bore? Several other WSU professors require that... There's more. This is going on at Washington State University. I'll repeat it. Several other professors require their students to acknowledge that racism, classism, sexism, heterosexism, and other institutionalized forms of oppression exist, or that we do not live in a post-racial world if they don't admit to that. They require, the words require are in bold letters. Several professors require their students. When they say their students, obviously they're talking about white, heterosexual males. So it's, deductive reasoning. Racism, so obviously they're talking about white people. Sexism, you're not talking about women, obviously. Heterosexism, you're not talking about gay fellas, right? So again, it's all designed to go after the white heterosexual male, all this politically correct fucking horseshit, and why these students don't set these teachers' cars on fire or follow them home to where they live and scare the fucking bejesus out of them. How about that? What's it taking? Why would you go to these schools? After just reading the curriculum, why the fuck would you go there? We live in a world of computers now. Just go on and teach yourself online. Be an autodidactic, as they say. Self-educated. Unbelievable, huh? It is notable that one of the syllabus's provisions warns, and this is the warning, the subject material of this class is sensitive and controversial. Strive to keep an open mind. That's what it says on these syllabuses. Can you fucking imagine? And then they tell you you'll be thrown out of class or get shit grades if you don't agree with what it says. Do you see how... it's fucking hilarious. That's irony defined. No contradictions here, huh? I need somebody out there to help me organize a college tour. They're not going to let me on campus, obviously, with my act. But if there's somebody out there that can find a venue, let's say 12 feet outside the campus boundaries, and we'll just build a show, band from campus tour with Nick DiPaolo, and you come out and you can see actual truths being spoken and have some fucking great laughs. Like the show in Atlanta. There was a black couple to my left. It was great. There was a couple gay guys right in the front who were hilarious. They look like they're my age. I can't tell anymore. But they were like my age or a little younger maybe, but the guy had his arm around his boyfriend, and I was busting their balls. And he came. I said, did you know who you were coming to see tonight? And he goes, absolutely. And the fucking guy was hilarious. He gets up, he comes back with a drink. He gives his, the people at his table drinks, and he goes to hand it to me, and I'm like, no, I'm all set, because at that point I had a couple. And he's like, you're going to drink it, goddamn. Like, Paul, you're going to drink the drink. And everybody's laughing, and there was a couple, a young Asian kid with a smoking hot white broad. And you know what? Nobody was having a problem with what I was saying. And I really believe that would be the case if, I could get my shit together and organize a national anti-college comedy tour. Somebody will hear this and do it before me, I'm sure. But I saw a couple people when I was talking about certain things get up, but you can't tell. They came back, so maybe they were just taking a piss. But sometimes they don't come back, and you're like, it hit a nerve there. But do you believe? I can't believe what I'm reading here about what's going on at college campuses. How the fuck do you people, and it's not all people who vote Democrat who agree with this, obviously, but it's what the Democratic party stands for. They're so far fucking left now. How can you fucking vote for anybody from that side? I don't fucking get it. It's crazy what's going on college campuses. Why do you get to define what's hateful and what's racist? That Martin O'Malley, that guy makes me sick to my stomach. Anybody who keeps using what's coming from the right is hateful, and that's the one that makes me fucking crazy. Because they apply it to everything now. Anytime you disagree with anything, it's considered hate or bigotry. You don't get to define that, motherfuckers. And if you do, start calling minorities who are killing cops that. All lives matter. White ones and black ones. Martin O'Malley, what a big girl. What a big girl. Republicans, if you can't win this next election, you fucking quit. Hang it up. Because look what's your competition on the left. That fat, pantsuited, pig-faced, fucking self-entitled, insincere twat Hillary Clinton. I mean, if she was a fucking guy, she'd be in jail by now. But she has a clit, so she's still in the race. I think she has a clit. Probably dick and balls, a little of both. Should do a reality show about her called I Am Cunt. Who else? Bernie Sanders. It infuriates me that a socialist is getting this much traction, even though he's never going to fucking win. What does that say about the fucking Democratic Party? He's a socialist, but he says he's a democratic socialist and caucuses with the Democrats, so I'll throw him in your category. The fact that he's sneaking up on Hillary. What does that say about Hillary? A fucking self-admitted socialist. Ugh. Who else? Then you got Biden thinking about it. I mean, Christ's sake, we've been making fun of him for years. But, you know, we don't consider him a racist, even though he said about Obama while he was running that he's clean and articulate. He said when Obama first started to run for president, he's fucking clean and articulate. He actually said that. He's not going to get in. Biden's, I don't think he is. Although, you know, I mean, what's stopping from him and Elizabeth Warren? They would be more of a, a threat to whoever the Republican nominee is than Hillary. I still say she's not going to make it. And who else is running over there? Fucking Martin O'Malley. Ugh. He is everything that's wrong with America. Same with Bernie Sanders. $18 trillion in debt or whatever the fuck. But yeah, everybody should go to college for free and with fucking dopes. No.
I'm Mr. Ed.
A horse is a horse, of course. You got an anal plug in your ass. I take a dump on my wife's face. Now she has post-traumatic stress disorder. What the hell else, kids? In this world that's being taken over by fascist leftist fucks. Jeffree Stein. I guess while I was away, or it happened like 6 days ago. I don't know. I can't keep track of fucking time. But Kurt Schilling tweeted something about, Muslims, comparing them, only like a small percentage of Muslims are, extremists. But he said, And, Nazis only made up 7% of that party, so how's that working out? And whatever the fuck, he accompanied it with a picture. Anyways, why he would think he could get away with that, working for ESPN, owned by Disney, who is the biggest exporter of political correctness and liberal horseshit, that I can't even watch Sunday Night Baseball anymore, or Around the Fucking Horn, with racist Bomani Jones and racist Kevin Blackistone and Mike Wilbon. They all try to hide their hate for white people and on those shows. I was watching a few months back, before I stopped watching it, I was watching Around the Horn, and Bomani Jones, they were talking about institutional racism, and he said something to the, and again, I'm paraphrasing, something to the fact, to say that America has institutional racism is like saying that the sun is hot. And Anthony Reale, the host, gave him a couple of points for saying that. That's how fucking... Disney is the worst. They have to be fucking destroyed. You ever watch cartoons meant for little kids? Oh, it's just hilarious. It's just unbelievable how unfunny and just lacking of any warmth or humor. It's like, it's indoctrination. It's just fucking... And anybody, and I know you guys, a lot of fans have already sworn off ESPN for their politically correct horseshit. Yeah, keep giving us more soccer scores on that crawl at the bottom. Yeah, that's, again, keep giving us those, because we're sitting on pins and needles. We're all dying to know how fucking Manchester United did. Give us some more WNBA scores, because those are important. Just fucking... Anyways, Schilling, who I'm not a huge fan of when it comes to being a commentator, because he doesn't shut up, ever. Neither does John Kruk. And again, I love these guys as ball players, both of them. But ESPN, they don't even... I guess they don't train. They just throw these jocks on the air. They don't shut up for 5 fucking minutes. I thought it was just Joe Morgan and John Miller. I used to turn the sound down to watch Monday Night Baseball, Sunday Night Baseball, because those two, I'm like, oh my God, I can't believe how bad. And Kruk and Schilling analyze every pitch for 20 minutes. And again, I love these guys, as fucking athletes. But anyway, so, fascist ESPN, owned by Disney, immediately gave Schilling the boot, suspended him, and, for the game. Again, whether you agree or disagree with his comments, that's not the point. The point is he should be able to say it and take the fucking wrath. You know what I mean? But then when you read the stories, you read all the stories online, and they all go, he was suspended for making racist comments about Muslims. No, he's talking about a small segment of extremists is what he was talking about. But every fucking article you read, that's how you know the left have their claws into the internet too. No matter what you're for making racist comments about Muslims. No, that wasn't the fucking case at all. But good old ESPN.
Ein Vorführen durch eigene Arbeit, durch eigenen Fleiß, eigene Entschlossenheit.
Exactly. So they gave him the boot, and it was a politically correct Disney wet dream. A 2-for-1er, because they gave that white fella Curt Schilling a boot for his comments and replace him on this Sunday night's broadcast with Jessica Mendoza. Yeah. Well, she's qualified because she played softball, I think, in college. She was quite a softball player. And it's perfect. She's female. She's a minority. She's an athlete. What better way to say we stand for everything that's good in the world than by replacing Schilling, who's probably actually German. Yeah, she played... She was an accomplished softball player at Stanford University. Played in the College World Series before... playing for the U.S. women's national team in 2001 to 2010, winning an Olympic gold medal in Athens. So she should be the obvious choice to replace Schilling, right? Because there aren't any ex-pro baseball players who would love that job, right? There aren't any guys out there who played MLB and struggled, even guys that struggled in the minors for you, that know more about baseball than she has forgotten. I should say they've forgotten. more about baseball than she knows, right? But it's a wet dream. And then you get these two guys after, Dave O'Brien and Dallas Braden. I guess she filled in on a Monday night game a while back or whatever. I don't know. You get the fucking point. You get the point. It used to be a meritocracy. You had to know something. You had to be qualified. Now you get tits. And again, no slight against you, Miss Mendoza, but you should be commenting on professional softball leagues. In a perfect world, in my humble opinion. Fucking ESPN. Ugh. Yeah. It just says Kurt Schilling benched by ESPN after comparing Muslims to Nazis. That's not what he did, actually. But it's beautiful. Let's keep the lie alive. Here's a statement from ESPN. Kurt's tweet was completely unacceptable and in no way represents our company's perspective. What is your perspective? What is your company's perspective? Why don't you state that? So they would never. We made that point very strongly to Kurt and have removed him from his current Little League assignment. Oh my God, he must have been furious. Pending further consideration. Can you imagine? Disney setting the tone. Fucking evil. They have evil. Anyways, Little League World Series, huh? You guys watch it? I tune in for like the last 3 or 4 games, Well, there's a team from Lewisburg. Am I saying that? Pennsylvania. They play the Japanese team for the championship, and these Japanese kids, I read somewhere they put up during the telecast they put up the practice schedule for the Japanese Little League team. And it reminded me of back in the 80s when the USA played Russia. And that was like a national team, and those guys lived together in Russia. That's what they did. They played year-round hockey, as opposed to these college kids that ended up beating them. But they put up the Japanese Little League schedule. Their practices, they take hitting from 9 to 11, and then situational fielding from 11 to 2, and then lunch, an hour for lunch, and then another 3 hours of whatever bunting. I mean, and it just shows. I mean, they are so fundamentally sound and just beating us at our own game. And these kids from Pennsylvania, I mean, they hit way more homers than anybody in the whole tournament, I guess. That's what they were known for. And they were up in the final game, first inning, Japanese get 2 runs at the top of the first, 2-0. And then a team from Pennsylvania gets 10 runs, 10-2. And you're like, oh, here we go. And then, like 2 innings later, it's 10-9. The Japanese, who weren't known to hit home runs, these little kids, hit like 5 homers. And they were just so... They weren't even... You could tell their confidence wasn't shaken one bit. And they just ended up winning 18-10. Ended up slaughtering this team from Pennsylvania. And it was just so funny how fundamentally sound these kids were. And how great they were at a game that, ironically... an American game. But it was fun to watch these kids, man. And, like the kid on the mound starts crying for the Pennsylvania team. And at that point, there was still a couple innings left. And his coach comes out and he goes, "What are you doing? You look scared," which I liked. But, and you should just hear the broadcast, the politically correct, when you're watching it. And I know you're not going to judge these kids the same way you do if you're watching a pro game. But it's just... Even when they fuck up, the announcers feel the need to go, well, he gave it his best effort, and it just, it's just, come on. They can handle it, Somebody was swinging a bad pitch. Well, you can't blame the kid's throwing 71 miles. No, just say the kid, what was he swinging at that for? God forbid. You'll get canned from ESPN if you do that. Yeah, that was on ABC, by the way, which also Disney, I believe. Yeah, it's just a world of political correctness gone frickin' mad. But I do get hope. Like I said, when I do these gigs, because for the most part, yeah, some people aren't going to like what I'm saying on stage, but it's not that political to begin with anyways. But I'm just saying. But that Saturday night show where it was just a free-for-all and I couldn't do material, I was saying heinous shit that deserved to be said, and people found it funny. And like I said, you couldn't have set it up better. Like I said, you had this like Muslim kid on before me, and some woman who hadn't been doing it that long, and it was like teeing it up for me. And then the gay guys in the front and a black couple, another the Asian kid with his beautiful girlfriend, and it was nobody's feelings were getting hurt. I was letting it fucking fly. And I know you're going, well, that's in you got to take that into context. You're in a comedy club, but it's the only place left. I don't know for how much longer. But it happens all the time with comics. Somebody in the audience has their phone on and records something and puts it out there that could, ruin them. There's kids out there to do that, and we all know how they vote. Little fascist fucks. But it still gives me hope. And I know there's college-age kids out there who have had enough themselves. That's why I think there could be some potential in doing an anti-college comedy tour. You know what I'm saying? Sure you do. I think that's about it. That's all that's on my mind. Got the my annual comedians cookout week from today, Labor Day, and that should be a blast. Watched what else? Oh, real quick, Red Sox Mets. I have to mention that. My Red Sox, it's so funny, man, because they were horrendous for the first half of the year. And a couple weeks ago, John Farrell, the manager, gets diagnosed with cancer, so he's away from the team. And I swear to God, from that game on, all these young guys that we've been hearing about all year that were supposed to be so great, who stunk the first half of the year, they're going above and beyond what we were told they could do. Jackie Bradley Jr., all of a sudden this guy is a monster, hitting for power, and everybody knows he's like the greatest fielder ever, and all these young guys. Even Joe Kelly, the pitcher, has won 6 games, I think, this month. He has stunk the first half of the year. He's the only Red Sox pitcher other than Pedro Martinez to go 6-0 in the month of August or whatever, and he's got like a 2.97 ERA, and they're hitting the shit out of the ball. And Big Papi is swinging like he's 22 years old. But all the young guys, like I said, all these young guys, I guess it takes that long. It takes a whole season, but, you don't just come up to the bigs and turn it on. There's very few guys other than, the Mike Trouts of the exception to the rule. But the Sox should be goddamn scary next year. They look like a whole different team now. Again, they've only got 60 wins, but these young guys are just blowing me away. Xander Bogaerts, he's going to be a perennial all-star for as long as he plays. Guy's as good as shortstop, and he's a 315 hitter right now. I mean, again, barring injury and whatever the fuck. But anyways, I have some optimism as far as the Sox next year. They actually put the wild card game. They're like 7.5 back, but they have to leap over like 6 teams in front of them. But it's very weird, and I'm not saying John Farrell, he's a great manager, but I'm just saying it's weird. They look more relaxed or looser, maybe, or like I said, it's just a combination of 6 of playing baseball for since April that these young kids are starting to show their true talent. So, anyways, it's Schilling being yelled at. Honchos at ESPN. That is it.
Why is everyone so fucking stupid?
I don't know, man. I don't know.
Why aren't more people intelligent like me?
I don't know. That's it. I will come see me, like I said, if you're in the Boston area next month at Lap Boston or Levittown, Long Island. Governors. Should be great. I'll talk to you guys soon, huh?